Michael Cohen pleads guilty, accepts plea deal. Paul Manafort convicted on 8 out of 18 counts, while 10 go to mistrial. It's been a year and a half for the Robert Mueller Trump-Russia collusion special investigation. Out of this year and a half, they brought to justice Michael Flynn, General Michael Flynn, George Papadopoulos, which I'm not too familiar with what's going on with him, Michael Cohen, and Paul Manafort, as well as 16 Russian hackers who were indicted in Russia, who will never, ever step foot in the United States. In fact, one of those 16 turned out to be not even a real entity. It was some false company or something like that. It was something that never even existed, basically. This Robert Mueller special investigation has gone on for over a year and a half, wasted millions of dollars in taxpayer money, and has caused a wedge between the people of the United States. And so far, they have nothing Trump-Russia collusion. So Michael Cohen today, Trump's former lawyer, accepted a plea deal to lighten his sentence, essentially. And what he was charged with was paying money to a couple of hookers that Trump allegedly had affairs with. Stormy Daniels and some Playboy model. And there might have been like some tax evasion thing on Michael Cohen's part. So he accepted a plea deal, from what I heard, which could be something between 3 and 6 years prison time. This has nothing to do with Trump-Russia collusion. Nothing to do with Russian collusion at all. A couple of hookers that allegedly had affairs with Trump a decade ago, way before Trump ever decided to run for president. As far as Manafort, who was Trump's campaign manager for about 3 months in the very beginning of his campaign, was put up on charges for tax evasion, bank fraud, and some other trumped up, pardon the term, trumped up charges. Out of those 18 charges, now it took about 4 days for the jury to deliberate their verdict. 8 of those charges he was found guilty on. 5 of them being tax evasion, and I believe the other 3, well, 2 of them having to do with bank fraud, and I forgot what the third one is. I think it had something similar to do with bank fraud. The 8 charges have absolutely nothing to do with Trump. Nothing to do with Trump. None of these charges have any, this was all from a decade plus years ago. His own doing. This is all his own doing. It has nothing to do with Trump. And this is the charges he were found guilty on. So, and Michael Flynn's only charge at this point is lying to the FBI. Now this kind of plays with what Rudy Giuliani recently said, truth isn't truth. Little like half a second snippet that they took completely out of context. But what he was trying to say is that when one person goes to speak to the FBI, they give their truth, their story, and then another person goes to speak to the FBI, or if the same person, I guess, speaks to 2 different parties in the FBI. If the stories don't match up 100%, then they get you for perjury, for lying to the FBI. This is what happened to Michael Flynn. he was lying to the FBI because some detail and some story that he told them didn't 100% match up to what they had on paper. And this is what Giuliani was referring to when he says truth isn't truth, meaning, you know, they had one of Trump's lawyers speaking to the FBI for like 30 hours, and if Trump were to go in there, and if he were to say something that just varied slightly, maybe like from one point of view to the next point of view, that they would take that difference and charge him with lying to the FBI. This is why you should not have Trump go and speak to the FBI, because they would get him on perjury. That's the whole point. So going back to Michael Flynn, that's his crime, lying to the FBI. Michael Flynn has served this country in the military for 30 plus years. Michael Flynn had to sell his house to pay legal fees. Now they're saying that they might withdraw his guilty plea because, according to testimony from Peter Strzok, of all people, and other FBI agents, Michael Flynn may not have lied to the FBI after all. So after destroying him due to legal fees, having the man who served this country, General Michael Flynn, he had to sell his house to pay these legal fees. Now that he's been destroyed, they have no evidence that he's actually lied. So, the point being, these are the three biggest cases, the three biggest so-called, well, what they were going to use to take down Trump in Trump-Russia collusion. Michael Cohen paid a couple of hookers off. Paul Manafort had some tax evasion and bank fraud a decade ago. And Michael Flynn may have lied, but probably didn't lie to the FBI just because of technicalities or whatever. These are the people that were supposed to prove, undoubtedly, Trump-Russia collusion. A year and a half of Robert Mueller's investigation. Robert Mueller, who has a bad track record as it is, not only in indicting some wrongful people throughout his career, but also in this new book that was recently put out. It shows how Mueller and James Comey, who are best buds, BFFs, use their rotating door of government and private industry and their security clearance, the same security clearance that Brennan had been revoked of by Donald Trump because he's a blabbermouth going on CNN and MSNBC or wherever the hell he goes on and yaps his flaps. This very security clearance made both James Comey and Robert Mueller millions of dollars in the private sector as they rotated and revolved in and out of the government, one at a time, going from government to private section to back into the government, while the other goes back into the private sector, and they made millions of dollars. These are the people who have also been protecting Hillary Clinton and that whole cabal, that whole, where the true Russian, or at least foreign, Christopher Steele with the dossier, but they also worked with Russian agents, and Christopher Steele, the MI6 agent, to get this fake dossier that they used to get the FISA warrant to put together this special investigation to get Trump on Trump-Russia collusion, which there is none. Now, of course, the left-wing media is going to spin this how this is another one. This is going to be it. This is going to bring down Trump. This is going to prove the Trump-Russia collusion, just like Stormy Daniels, the hooker, did, and just like Omarosa and all this other crap that they try throwing out. They're just flinging fecal matter against the wall to see what sticks. But none of it's sticking because there's nothing for it to stick to. So this is going to turn out to be another nothing burger. Now, I have no inside information. I'm only saying this out of what I'm seeing here. We have the midterm elections coming up in November. This investigation has been going on for well over a year and a half. Millions of taxpayer dollars have been wasted. And like I said, a wedge has been driven between this country. Not a damn shred of evidence has come out to prove Trump-Russian collusion. It's all been nothing. Everything leading in every other direction except Trump-Russia collusion. So I'm going to go on the record right now and make a prediction. Like I said, we have the midterm elections coming up in November. Important, very, very important. Please, people, go vote. We got to stop this blue trickle. If these nut jobs get into Congress, if they get to take over Congress, you know they're going to try to impeach Trump. It's not going to happen because the Republicans aren't going to lose the Senate no matter what. And there's really nothing to impeach him over. But you know they want to make Trump a lame duck president, stop everything he's doing. You know Nancy Pelosi would like to take back the crumbs, reverse the tax cuts and the regulation cuts that have been booming our economy. So please, go vote Republican. But I digress. I'm predicting that because Manafort, Cohen, Michael Flynn are all nothing burgers, Mueller is going to be forced to end this special investigation. I say no later than the end of the year, probably before Christmas. But in best case scenario, they will have to end it before the midterm elections so that people can see all this Trump-Russia collusion was a load of BS and the Democrats are just trying to destroy this country, destroy a presidency, a duly elected president, and people will be able to make proper decisions pre-midterm election. But if they're sneaky about it, they'll end it after midterm elections, whether it's a day, a week, a month after. But I say either way, I'm predicting by Christmas of this year, this phony, waste of time, nothing burger special election will be finally ended. Robert Mueller will have to write his special report saying that there is no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Because there is no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion because there has been no Trump-Russia collusion. If you want to see the collusion, it's with the DNC, it's with Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele, the phony dossier. That's where all the collusion is. That's where the criminality is. Trump is just the outsider who has been elected to drain the swamp, to shake up the system, to get all the elite, swamp creatures out, like the people want them, and to put America first and make America great again. So what say you? Do you think I'm right? Do you think that Robert Mueller and the special investigation is going to be forced to come to an end now that these cases went nowhere? There's no proof of Trump-Russia collusion. What do you think? Leave your comments down in the box below. Let me know. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to my channel. Also, since we all know how they're screwing around with algorithms and shadow banning and outright censoring, please hit the little bell so you get notifications every time I do put out a video. And thanks for watching. I'm out of here until the next time.